everyone. I hope everybody is doing fine at their own homes. And let's start with the webinar today. So one of the panelists is having some trouble connecting. So we'll be taking a few minutes, and meanwhile we'll start with the seminar. So today we have two great and amazing personalities with us, Dr. Ram Baheen and Mr. Anil Kumar Kalicharan. Both of both of them are noted personalities in the field of healthcare. Good evening, sir.
Hi, Isha, how are you?
I am
Good
doing good,
morning.
sir. How
Good
are you?
evening. Beautiful.
So, sir, let's start with the questions first. We'll be taking the questions from the viewers and listeners as well. But I would like to start this session with a very common question, which actually arises in the mind of everyone who wishes to go ahead in the field of healthcare. First of all, how is hospital or healthcare management as a career option, specifically in the current times?
I think with COVID and with the pandemic scenario, what we are seeing is that has become way more important and critical. See, the challenge with healthcare is that the oath we take is the do no harm. And
Yes,
what
sir.
it means is that anything which we deploy in field to do the care delivery has to be proven and tested. While while all these systems and processes are being matured, it takes time. So that's where the innovation and path forward in healthcare is a little bit slower than other industries. But with COVID
Yes, sir.
situation, with the pandemic, what we are seeing is that now everything is accelerated. Even the drug approvals, research approval, FDA approvals, and all is on accelerated path. So at this point in time, because of the pandemic, I think folks are realizing, governments are realizing that healthcare also needs to catch up, just for the if for nothing else, just for the societal good. I think this is the best time because the change is already happening, which is happening because of macro factor, which is a pandemic, rather than a slow pace how healthcare actually flows. Any change happens in healthcare.
Yes, sir. So how would you say, sir, that the healthcare industry is different from other industries? Like there are basic differences which we know, but when you come out in the market, when you're out of the college, what difference, what is that one thing which, distinguishes healthcare industry from any other industry in the market currently?
So I would say at a very, very basic level, healthcare is still a native need or an opportunity which every government and every society needs to provide. Wherein a bank is there or not there, a phone is there or not there, it's a question. But when we talk about a basic need, a society needs to provide along with education is healthcare. I think that's where healthcare becomes a fundamental force in all of our lives. It impacts each and every one of us.
Yes, sir. Fair enough, sir. Dr. Ram.
Yes. How are you?
Yes, sir. I am doing good, sir. I am so glad finally your connection issues are fine.
Yes. Now connected. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So for the listeners, we got an opportunity to meet during fest at our college, IHMR Bangalore. Sir is an alumni of IHMRB. And this is the second time I'm getting the opportunity to converse with him. So, sir, for you specifically, I'll start with this question because you started from here and your career has been very different in terms of career growth as a healthcare manager. So, what do you think? What is the scope of health or hospital management on both national and international level?
Yeah. My career started with a medical doctor, but like hardly a practice. So less than 1 year I practiced, then I joined ISMR. Then the whole game is changed. So from a medical doctor to a manager, the journey is pretty much different reason. You see the hospital, you see the patient, you see the whole the ambience, the whole the healthcare industry in a different perspective, right? As a medical doctor, you see the clinical the management, or the outcome of a patient, when he's admitted into a hospital. But as a healthcare manager, your perception is totally different. You see the outcome of a hospital business or the healthcare industry, because you're going to balance the health economics in one side and the stakeholders, the expectations in the other side. So it's quite interesting, quite challenging, quite a lot of learning curve, after this. But I didn't join as a hospital manager or administrator. My always I prefer to be on the other side of the river. I just put it on the on the other side. I mean, I started my career as a management consultant. So that gives a lot of experience to see how to start a hospital. Like you just start with your career as a the market research analyst kind of a thing. So so my first job was in I could recollect those days, like there's a hospital coming up in Noida in Delhi.
Okay.
So we extensively done a complete market research for that hospital, which includes the secondary data and the primary data, get into the details of collecting the information to put all these numbers into the feasibility report. So that gives an interesting experience those days, like as soon as I completed my HMR MBA program. Slowly it is emerging, like the curiosity always goes up, right? So what is next, so you have to always keep yourself engaged on learning new credentials, so that it occupies your skills to the worldly expectations. So I looked into it that way. So so now I sit in Dubai and running a company, yes, running two companies here. So one is on the
Yes.
healthcare, hardcore healthcare, where London Genetics, we handle the genetic test services, connecting the global partners to the local markets in one side. And the other one is like the London Capital is more into a corporate finance advisory services, where we focus 80 to 90% of the deals on healthcare. So most of the things are fundraising or M&A or debt fundraisings and stuff like so. It gives a clear understanding. So I'm not regretting that. Why did I completed my medical graduation? That gives depth of knowledge how the
Yes,
healthcare
yes.
market
That
works.
was going to be my another next question.
Yeah. So so that's an experience. So coming back to the same question, like how the healthcare market or the overall the market is working these days. I'm not worried about the COVID thing. So I'm talking about before 3 months or 6 months. Yes, there's a lot of opportunities, and it's all about the connections. I put it in that way simply. Reason, probably the hospital in the same street might be having an opportunity for a operations manager or a sales manager. But if you don't know this opportunity, how do you put your CV? How do you join there? How you get selected? So there's always a gap existing. So so all the jobs are not displayed in LinkedIn or other job related portals.
Yes,
So
sir.
the connections really matters. So this
Yes,
network
sir.
and connections with the alumni and stuff, that really matters to get into the industry and to retain, to be in the industry. So overall, the market, there is a lot of opportunities available, especially on the healthcare space, because healthcare and education is one of these two sectors which is like always growing, and there is no what do you call there's no retirement. I mean, I don't know to put into a fancy word, but like this two sectors always there's a demand in this market. So yeah, so if a person is doing his or her
Yes,
MBA
sir.
program in healthcare or hospital management or pharmaceutical management, there is an opportunity, but like how you're going to connect and make it happen.
Yes, sir,
That's how the
definitely.
difference.
Yes, sir.
That's what the difference is.
Yes, sir. So when you started this course, did you have it in your mind at some place that I have to turn into an entrepreneur at some point of time? Or this was something which was not planned and it just happened?
No, entrepreneurial thing is always in the mind. Reason in IHMR, when I was doing my program, uh, the, so there is a program like they give you 50 dirhams and make it, how you're going to earn this one. So
Yes,
we
sir.
had a lot of such activities on the during the college. It was happening. It is quite interesting. It puts you into the right way of thinking how you want to start the business, what is the demand in this market, and how you beat the competition and stuff like so. That is always there, and from the business family, like so it is in the gene as well.
Yes, sir.
The other one is like probably when I was doing my business in Mumbai. So you might be known the famous Bhavesh Agarwal, the Ola cab founder.
Yes,
So
sir.
we used to go together for a lot of entrepreneurial events. He used to come to my
Okay.
place. We used to take an auto. Those days, like I'm talking about 2010, I guess.
Yes, sir.
So it was like always an interesting thing, to be with a peer group where the like-minded people. It might be in a different sector, but like if you really engage into on a platform or a forum, that gives you a lot of credibility to move forward,
Yes, sir.
to achieve your vision. So
Yes, sir.
back to the question, like yes, there is always a thought, in the mind that to do some business. But the vision was very big actually, to own 100 companies.
Yes, sir.
But humbly we have now only 2 companies. Let's see how things are moving forward.
All the very best, sir.
So thank you.
And Anil, sir, there is one question from you. So there are many of students and another like professionals who want to pursue this course, but then there is this one question which is a frequently asked question, and everybody has it in their mind, that what is the scope for a non-medico in this field? Because there is this a common notion that usually medicos go for a healthcare field, but then you obviously are setting up an example. So how do you feel, like how is it for a non-medico?
So, and again, you said it rightly, Isha, that I don't have a medical background. I don't have a clinical background at all. But having said that, because I'm out there in the market, that's my role for now 20 years. I worked with almost all the big blue chip, large medical systems, as well as insurers, as well as the benefit managers. So one thing I'm noticing the trend is becoming a lot more technology. Means now I talk to leaders of organization and they tell me, hey, we are not in XYZ business, rather we are in a technology business. And what it is resulting into is at this point in time, we are doing X.
Yes, sir.
So where it is going, where the industry is going with all these new things which is coming up, all these automations, AI, machine learning, big data, the amount of opportunity it is creating is almost exclusively around technology. But again, having said that, I'm not saying the clinical insight is not important or critical. I think
Definitely, sir. Yes, sir.
that can be augmented.
Yes, sir.
But the point being is that in the earlier days, for me to be able to talk to an anesthesiologist or oncologist to say, hey, by the way, I can come and help you figure out these kind of opportunities, would have been a very different kind of conversation, because he would have said, are you a clinical guy? Are you a doc or a RN or a PA or
That is the
something with
first
clinical
question which is
background?
asked. Yes, sir.
So then it's all about empathy also. But having said that, at this point in time, you can have those conversations, because I can talk to him. I can be talking to a CEO of a hospital, pretty large hospital, and talk about, hey, how can I help your frontline clinical staff to be safe? And the
Yes, sir.
conversation is all around, maybe I can create a ring, and this is just, I have a ring, and that ring detects your temperature and your heart rate and all that real time, and be able to send it back to your nursing station. So your frontline, while they are dealing with all these situations, are always safe. And if in case they have elevated whatever clinical parameters, then we can have an intervention. Again, everything here is technology, but
Yes, sir.
prior to the technology and adoption of all these ideas, it would have been a very difficult thing. So I think it's a very, very, very good time for a technologist to be in healthcare. And healthcare leaders also are looking for it. Think about a
Yes, sir.
doc. A doc, why he studied for 8 years, 9 years, 10 years is because he wants to take care of the patient. And you
Yes, sir.
start telling him this is the artificial intelligence and all that kind of thing, his eye starts rolling, or he becomes googly. So they also need lots of help from institutes like IHMR, our students who, and I think the best for me personally, I think the best combination becomes is when I have a clinical background, some understanding of clinical pieces, or I'm doing those courses which gives me, let's say health information management, a provider workflow, and all these kind of, giving me that insight along with technology and data, that becomes a winning combination in my mind. I would love for Dr. Ram to kind of comment on that, what his take on this is.
Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, yes, I touch upon a bit on technology, but not too much onto that, because I didn't get a chance to work on healthcare IT. But my During my program in IHMR Bangalore, I was doing a small study, that is a gap assessment in Apollo Hospital, Bannerghatta, about their IT infrastructure. So that gives some clear understanding about the what is the real operational flow and how the technology supports to avoid the errors or to reduce the errors or to to make it efficient. So that gives more clarity, but eventually I didn't continue on that side. But yes, technology plays a major role, and what I'm recently seeing about all the Python and related things are coming up in one side, and how the blockchain is efficiently working on healthcare as well. That is a huge space. It is not completely penetrated. So probably when you talk about IT healthcare, in 5 years down the line, there might be a program healthcare blockchain, how the data or how the information is going to be secured and connected to the right stakeholders. So there is a huge opportunity on that space. What I could foresee on that, and a lot of investments are happening on this space. Even the IoT is again a huge space onto that. Healthcare IoT is, he rightly mentioned, Mr. Anil. So all the data from the patient is directly captured and going to the physician office is one space, but there's a lot of investment. People literally struggle to put money, or I'm talking from the private equity side, on the healthcare space. Mostly on private hospital. Like 10 years back, investing in healthcare is one of the prestigious things for one of the private equity firms. But these days, it's like they're very special. They're very choosy to invest only on specialty-based hospitals or medical centers. If it's a diabetology clinic, or if it is a cardiology clinic, they put money on that. They see the return on investment. They can quickly foresee about the break even and stuff. Like they don't put money on oncology reason,
Yes,
the
sir.
huge investments and stuff like. So on that, on a different perspective, I'm not only focusing on unidirectionally. I'm thinking from the investor side. I'm thinking from the regulation side as well, where there is an opportunity on the healthcare IT space, but there a lot of development is going to happen. Hope the new credentials, from the educational institutions is going to cope up on that level as well, and the regulations also is going to support on that. But I don't have much knowledge about healthcare IT, so kindly ignore my, excuse my ignorance.
Yes, sir. So all three of us are connected to IHMR in some or the other way. And me being a student, like a question which comes to my mind is, does this course meets the actual industry standards? You people are out in the industry, you have been there for a very long time now. So should we be assured that we are in the right hands?
I'll sorry to take this
Please go ahead.
discussion immediately. No, whatever we learn is a basics. That's what the institution can provide you, because the industry expectation is totally different. The hospital which you join in Mumbai might be totally different than in Bangalore or might be in Dubai or US.
Fair
So
enough.
so there are three components which I put across. Like one is the managerial skill, second is the technical skill, third is maybe you can put the interpersonal skills. So IHMR provides you a support which connects all the three components. Like yes, managerial skill, you learn about basic decision making, problem solving, effectiveness, efficiency. You get into the activity based costing and stuff like that. That's a hardcore managerial skill. Then you get a chance to work on different assignments and stuff. Like you gain your interpersonal skill. Not as a free rider. You just participate on different assignments and stuff, like actively engaging yourself. That's how the managerial skill is needed in the market right now. Probably if you join as I was one of the directors for a leading hospital in Dubai, and I was in the executive committee as well. So always there is a people try to pull you, like try to balancing is the key component. Is not showing your technical skills and competency. It's all about how you understand his question and put across to the things and make sure there is a win-win situation that's been created. So this is the interpersonal skill is like still it is a key component. So when you're growing in your career, this is the first, because technical skill is keep changes. IHMR will give you say about 40-50% of hospital management skills and knowledge and tools and techniques. But beyond that, every year there's a new technology comes up, new system, new regulation comes up. I mean, we can't blame any institution, right?
Yes, sir, definitely.
it is a professional's ability to learn the new techniques and tools to
But the
cope
college and the course
based
probably
on
make a
the.
base for it, probably make a strong base for it.
Absolutely, that gives a clear picture. When I remember, like when Professor Hari was telling about the operational efficiency and effectiveness and the definition of quality. Still, we remember that, but what we see in the market is totally different, right? Or what we see in the job is totally different.
Definitely, sir.
What the expectation from the operational team from us is totally different. So yes, all the three components, like the interpersonal skill, the technical skill, and the managerial skill, all the components, you get a chance to learn from the institution.
Definitely,
But
sir.
it's not a full stop.
Okay.
Like probably I'll put it in that way. So keep
I
learning
totally
that.
get it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So Anil sir, what is your take on this?
First of all, I absolutely agree with whatever Dr. Ram has said. I think all great point, and I'm not going to repeat them, but rather would add from my. So one thing, once my business mentor told me is that be it education, while I was a student, be it the corporate world, you own your own destiny. You own
Yes, sir.
your own growth. So, depending on anybody, institution or companies or, HR function or whatever, manager or whosoever is, it works. But having said that, eventually I own it. So where I'm going with that is that IHMR does have a very, very robust, curriculum, which actually enables us to be able to talk that language, which your interviewers or job, which the hiring organization wants to hear. But having said that, there are lots of additional opportunities and new things which is coming up. So any educational institute or any corporation, the moment they become stagnant and they say this is what we have and they can't grow, that's a sign of decay for me. So that's one good thing with IHMR I also enjoy and wanted to bring out is that means you have panels from like Dr. Ram is sitting here, I'm sitting here. You have an international panel also where actually they are also coming back and, advising on, I'm having discussion with Dr. Usha and Pradeep sir around digital health course, certification course.
Yes,
So
sir.
those are the new things which so long institute is pragmatic, innovative, even to keep on bringing those outside information in, I think it will keep on excelling. But to Dr. Ram said, new things will happen so long I have a strong foundational. And another thing which I do, go and talk to Georgia Tech and other institutions here. I help them with mock interviews, and I know Dr. Ram suggested about that also, that packaging is very important
Yes, sir.
because oftentimes we discount ourselves. Because I have not studied at Harvard or Yale or Stanford, then maybe there is something missing. 99% of the education across the world is same. It's internet, everything is out there, everything
Yes,
is
sir.
in our classes. What differentiates the best in class institution with any other institution is the attitude. So I have a personal saying to say, if some idiot is going to do it, then why not me? Somebody has to solve that problem. Somebody's going to do it. Why not me?
That is
So
the bottom line I'm going to take away from your talk today.
and
Yes, sir.
second is definitely, so that's attitude is very important.
Yes,
I
sir.
am relevant. I am important. What I know matters. And keep on challenging your institute. Challenge your institute.
Yes, sir.
Everything is on the internet to say, hey, like this conversation we are having, that's fair. So challenge institute to bring more and more innovation back in. And
Yes, sir.
lastly, we talked about connections. End of the day, the best in class institutes are because they have connection. Their alumni network is amazingly strong, and half the US presidents and Supreme Court judges are from Harvard. So what was going to happen? Harvard will always get lots of
Yes, sir.
grant and all that kind of thing. So connection is important. That how do you keep on building that, relying on that, and it's just like any relationship. You have to
Yes, sir.
strengthen. You have to put something to that relationship. So nutshell, your educational institute is giving a solid foundational because I've seen the course. The things needs to be added to that real time. Just keep on challenging institute. Your institute faculties and director are already very proactive, pragmatic, but also focus on those personal trait, which is attitude, having right positive mindset, positive thinking, believe in oneself, one's self-worth. That's a very, very, very important piece of that piece. And also connections.
Yes, sir. Fair enough. So there is one more thing we would like to know from you for now. We would love to hear your teaching experiences. Like, how has it been with IHMR?
So I did. So I've been its associate now for a few years.
That question brings a smile on your face. It must be
Yes,
good.
I love the students. By the way, the background I saw with the BDS and pharma and some in industry coming back, working in ER departments and some IT guys, some finance guy, and I also met some armed forces folks
Yes, sir.
also. So
They are the stars of our
amazing.
batch, actually. Like, we all look forward to meet the captains and the lieutenants and whatnot. And that is a new territory, uncharted territory for all of us, right?
I would keep on prodding them. The kind of experience they get is because they are implementing medical services to the largest ecosystem, which
Yes.
is armed forces. Any
Yes.
country, armed forces is huge. Anybody who has experience implementing systems and processes around that has lots of. Oftentimes, they don't themselves realize the kind of experience they bring to the table.
Yes, sir.
So keep on prodding them. Make sure that they participate and all. So step back. I think the students are amazing caliber, amazing
Thank you
quality.
so much, sir.
It's absolutely I loved interacting,
Yes, sir.
and second is the curriculum aspect also, I enjoyed, and I have always been more on filling the gaps in bringing digital health, bringing US healthcare experience, bringing more healthcare economics kind of pieces in. So that's again near and dear to me. So there's some value also I'm able to create. Third, I have worked with students on some research projects also, because I do strongly believe it's like publish or perish kind of model. A good institution has to have patents, have to have research being published, taking and again, the good news is that there are lots of innovation, we call it reverse innovation, happening in India just as a market itself, which outside countries, even US or any country can, they can leverage those innovations, because there are lots of uniqueness we have in our country. Rural population, how do you take care of the population, how do you permeate all these processes and all these advances all across. I mean, again, every country can benefit from them. So bringing, so when in my interaction with the students, they were able to bring those examples in their experience. So that was enriching for me also. So as a teacher, I always want to learn. Otherwise, what's the point? And so those would be the couple of things I would say. Students, great caliber, they challenge. That's pretty amazing. Curriculum is good. And, and I also feel that I'm creating some value and, contributing. So far, amazing experience. So long Dr. Usha wants it, I'll continue doing it.
We would love to have you there, sir. Definitely. Ram, sir, so my next question is from you. There are many people asking about the global acceptance of this course. So do you have to give an exam? Do you have to take a test? What do you have to do if you want to work abroad in future?
Overall, for managerial position, I don't think so. There is extensively there is special exams or tests with my
Okay.
knowledge,
So the
because
course
when I
itself is
came,
accepted globally.
absolutely the course is completely accepted, and people are doing even further studies based on these programs and stuff. So if that's completely absolutely fine. For career side, for a job, then even immediately, even the people are joining for internship in Dubai
Yes.
from IHMR. So that is the best part. We have to understand that. So there is no hurdle on doing any further programs or any competency tests and stuff like to get selected for to be a consultant or to be a manager is absolutely fine to have the MBA from IHM or Bangalore. That's absolutely good to move forward on that. There's a lot of alumni. IHMR alumni are here. We have frequent gatherings happening in this region. IHMR Jaipur, Bangalore, and Delhi. We are well connected in this region, in Dubai at least. So that's I'm very sure about it. For a job perspective, I don't think so. There's a hurdle on to get selected, to do some additional program to get selected. This is absolutely fine. At least in these part of Middle East and the Asian countries. But for Europe and US, probably even I heard that there are a lot of opportunities and stuff available, and IHMR is already joined, and they are doing a good service over there. But globally, I don't think so. There's a hurdle on that. So it's good to go forward, with this course, and even to take an internship. That's the thing, I strongly recommend. If you go for an outside internship, then you get to know the different culture and their operating policies and stuff like the regulations, and the interpersonal skills. The requirement might be totally different. Even here in this region like Dubai, the cultural knowledge plays a key role, like the Arabic culture, how to interact with others and
Yes, sir.
stuff like that.
Definitely.
That's
You learn a
something.
lot other than the curriculum and the work, you learn a lot.
So for that, I strongly suggest like to go out, like as soon as you get a job, like or to connect with the people. That's how it is. Like this is all about networking, and meeting the people, and LinkedIn plays a major role on that. Just to connect on that.
Yes, sir.
For completing a program from IHMR Bangalore and get a job in Dubai or outside or anywhere, it is quite easy and possible, as long as you are able to go on the right channel, and meeting the right people, and keep
Yes, sir.
focused and keep trying, like that's how it is. So I strongly suggest, if anyone want to move out from India, it's good, as long as the COVID is over. So that's
Yes, sir, definitely, for sure. So there are multiple questions being lined up in the Q&A section. There is one question which I would like to ask from both of you. Other than that, if there is any other question which catches your attraction, you can definitely go ahead with it. So there is this one question being asked by a viewer, that what is the skill set required to have a future in health IT and health informatics? Anil sir, can you please start?
I'm so sorry. What can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, sir. So what are the skill sets a person should have, a professional should have, in order to have a nice future in the field of health informatics, health IT, and AI and everything?
So again, when I go and hire freshers, analysts, or when I go and go to the universities for hires and all, I'm always looking for attitude, because I know new things will come up. Does the person has right attitude to learn? So what we call is he teachable? Can he learn something? Second, I care about is his presence. Can he even look in my eyes? Can he smile when he was having conversation? What kind of confidence that person has?
Yes, sir.
Third, then I'm looking at some basic, if somebody is saying I know X, then he actually needs to know X. So anything which is there in resume, you should be able to justify that. So nutshell, there is already a trust in an institution to do a good job. And IHMR is a healthcare policy and research institute. Anyway, your course is good, your teachers are good. So I know you have right foundations. So I'm not worried too much about that. Do you know your stuff or not?
Okay.
So that's where, for me and the leaders I talk to, majority of them look more for the teachability, the presence, be able to have a normal, nice conversation, be confident. So those are the kind of skills we typically look for from a university grad. Again, if somebody experienced, that's a very different kind of conversation.
Okay.
Lastly, what I always look at is two things: leadership experience. Have you demonstrated leadership anywhere? Because we all want to hire people who can be, we can just leave them and they can do their job, and I don't have to do micromanage, because who has time? So do you have leadership kind of experience? And it might just be, I was a treasurer for my XYZ club, or I ran a nonprofit, or I did, so those kind of activities. So leadership actually is extremely important. Another thing is, what did you do apart from your job? See, you a student, but again, there are 200 other students too. So how do you differentiate yourself? Means, what were you doing with outside of your education?
So basically, why you? We should be able to answer the question, why me?
Absolutely. And 8 hours every week, I was I was doing consulting for a small local hospital, or I was looking at a process flow, or I was writing research paper. Again, something more than which is meaningful. So those will be the criteria. I would say you guys have very strong foundation because of your background as well as education. Also focus on packaging, focus on soft skills, focus on presence, focus on leadership qualities, focus on what I call it plus. Along with education, what plus thing are you doing? And it cannot be partying, it has to be something more meaningful. Those would be the things I look for, and I consistently talk to numerous leaders. That's what they look from the university grads.
Okay, sir. Dr. Ram, a similar question has been directed specifically towards you. So the question says, what are all the challenges and opportunities for healthcare entrepreneurs, AI-based technology specifically in Dubai?
Yeah, I just sort of answered this question.
Yes, sir.
Ready now. From Shivaram Murugesan. So
Yes,
thanks for the question. There is I take into 4 parameters, things to answer here. Number 1 is an entrepreneurial shifting. Second is healthcare. Third is the futuristic technology, that is AI-based technology. Fourth is Dubai. So yeah, Dubai is a world of opportunity. So if you have some unique thoughts and stuff, like, yes, you can make it, and yeah, there you can attract a lot of investments as well. So the first thing is on the entrepreneurial thing, you should be having a base, model and stuff has to be ready, and that's how you have to keep engaging yourself with the different stakeholders in this region. It's not the place just to come here and prepare a business plan. When you want to do something in Dubai, you are almost done, and all the basic work is done and well connected, and just jump into the business. And kind of a pilot study or an observation period, at least for 6 months to 1 year, is very essential,
okay.
because of the cost of managing the business here is extremely high. So it's not like something we can do in other parts of the world, but it is super high here. So the first focus is why Dubai? Why not a bigger picture like GCC? And why you want to keep an office here in Dubai? And who is the stakeholders, or who is your client? Like, for example, an AI-based healthcare technology you're going to launch in this region. Uh, who is your the direct customers, and how you're going to connect on the who is your competitors, and how you're going to manage your the working capital, and what is the investment requirement. So kind of a bit study on this thing is very essential. To be very particularly on AI-based technology in this region, always there's an opportunity. I foresee reason Dubai is mostly they talk about smart cities and the blockchains, and so it is more into a kind of a futuristic world altogether. So whatever you have something in AI, it is amazing. Like, you should able to do something out of it. The challenges, yes, there's a routine. Is not only for AI-based technology-related challenges. It's all the business-related SMEs. If you're coming in an SME, then mostly the working capital issues is the main challenge. Unless until you don't meet your target of the annual budget, then there's a hurdle up actually. So if you could able to manage your routine investments requirements, at least the first 2 years working capital, if you're able to manage it, then you can survive here. So that is the second thing. And healthcare is always, is growing in this region and accepted, and people investing in this region as well. So what I foresee for this model, where there's a strong business model with a well-defined service or product line, defined clientele base and stuff, and you able to connect the right dots here. And 3 to 5 years strong business model, and exit strategy for any investors. So these are all the key components when somebody is going to start a business here. Or you can easily do one thing. You can put an office in Bangalore and connect with the distributor in this region, and able to see the market for 1 year or 2 years. Then you put an office in Dubai. Then things might be different.
Yes, sir.
Then you can able
That
to
sounds
manage it.
like a fair plan. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So it's all about, like, what are the options. There'll be multiple options to start the business in Dubai for AI-based healthcare technology, but which is best for you as an entrepreneur, as well as the demand in this market, and based on the current situation. So probably people tell that because we have another vertical on the investments. So what we understand from the investors, everybody is now put on hold for any new investments. So till
Yes, sir.
maybe first, second, is done. Like now, third and fourth quarter also will be remaining the same, probably. But in the other side, there's a massive investments are happening. Like, if you see about Apple is changing their platform from China to India, and there's not only this, there is a lot of other investments on a super massive level. It's in billions,
Yes,
not
sir.
in millions.
Yes.
So to understanding the two components, one is the SMEs are literally struggling. They don't. Then a lot of businesses are going to be wiped out. In one side based on the COVID, and the other side, like the massive investments are happening on the mass productions on the for the giants.
Yes,
So
sir.
investors, yes, they are holding in one side, but in the other side, they are massively investing on stuff like. So AI based healthcare technology is a killer deal. You should
Okay.
invest on that. You should put your energy and effort. It's a great thing,
Definitely, sir.
but you should have a proper mentorship and guidance, and not to rush right now to take a failure within 2 years. If you're having a thought to get into AI based healthcare technology, you should sustain for next like 15, 20 years. That's how the thought should be there. So not to there are a lot of factors which will put you down, but you have to be very careful and take a proper mentorship and move forward on that. That's my humble
Thank you so
suggestion.
much, sir. Yes, sir. I'm pretty sure most of our viewers and listeners would probably look forward to you for leadership in the coming times.
Look, I'll
So,
be happy to help
Anil,
out. Yeah.
thank you, sir. Anil, sir, I don't have a question actually, so I kind of did some back-end researching, and I came to know that you are a published author as well. And if I'm not mistaken, the name of the book is Adhuri Saans.
Correct. Mhm.
Yes, sir. So,
Unfulfilled breath.
I'm Breath. Yes, sir. So, are you a master of all trades? Like, do you suggest us as well, like have a hobby or something you're very passionate about side by side parallelly? Does it help you grow as a person?
Um, like all the questions, great question, Isha. Again, it's the experience. When I was in college, my understanding and priorities were different. Initial phase of my career, it was all about career growth and wanted to be the best and the most highly promoted and all the kind of good, highly paid and all the kind of good stuff. With age, some maturity comes, hopefully. And so at this point in time, I personally believe, and I try to teach it to my son also, who's 14 years old, Avi, is that we need to have a body, mind, and soul for a balanced person. It's extremely, extremely important, and it repays back in many, many fold. So without hobby, without those activity which gives purpose and meaning to our life just becomes one dimensional. And so for me, that is poem. I write poems, and but that would be my and India has, and again I know there are global participants here, but India has given yoga and meditation to the worldwide. So there is huge value in having that spiritual and body side of that. So yes, with the age, I strongly believe that a balanced person, and also the point being is that, see, what happens is, and now I'm in the market side. Why you want to sell myself? Typically, the person who is interviewing you, whether in the VC side or the job side or wherever it is, those are old people like me. And we also have learned, at least I have learned by my mistakes to say, no, other things also are important. So when I hear from somebody that a student to say, hey, he started a company of his own while he was in dorm. When I go and talk to Stanford and spend time with them, Stanford or Georgia Tech and all, again, either they would have started some company or they would be in theater or they will be in. But the moment I hear anybody saying something more than work, that excites me, because either that's an aspirational I have. I always wanted to climb Mount Everest, but I never did that. But if there is a kid who has already done it, he's already, that conversation is a lot more like friends. It's no longer an interview. So that's why I strongly believe that we should have body, mind, and soul, not only for us being a multi-dimensional personality, but also the folks you are interviewing with. There's another opportunity for us to connect with them in a very different level, and which is not give me a job, but more as a people level, personal level, at a human level.
Yes,
So
sir.
yes, it took me 20 years to learn this thing. I wish I knew it
Better
sooner.
late than never.
There you go.
Yes, sir. So, as somebody very wise had said that a good session is the one which starts on time and ends on time. I think this is time we start wrapping it up. So, there is one last question I would like to ask from both of you. What was the master stroke in your career path? So, Dr. Ram, Will you start? Would you wish to take the lead?
Yeah, sure. So I have something to share actually, like, how this, uh, in the headline of perception, right? I'll just put it into a simple thing because we're end this session as well. Like, always my mind always think about what is next. I don't get satisfied as what I'm living today. Yes, I live. There are two things when I start my day and end my day. Uh, these two things are the main killer thing in my life actually. Number one is experience. Second is achievement. Whatever doesn't work for me or whatever people criticize me, I take it as an experience. Second,
Okay.
whatever people praise me or they take something from a learning perspective, I take it as an achievement.
Okay.
So these two things are my driving force, number one. And number two, the perception I told about, how you think about the world rather than who thinks about you. So when you sit for anything like, maybe for an interview, I'm just a lot of students are here now. So just to tell, so don't underestimate yourself. You have to be super confident on yourself in the sense like you're going to change the world. It's not that people are like you start up with your career or your studies, humble schools and stuff like, or you have a graduation with a very not very active, then masters in IHMR Bangalore. Uh, so it is not that one we have to always think and underestimate yourself. You can be a last bench sitter and like do nothing in the classroom, but still be confident because
Yes.
the world is expecting from you not the academic thing, how active you are and how what you're going to deliver onto the thing solution, and abrupt quick and be smart and stuff like that. That's the thing, the world is going to be changed on that, right? So it's not me, it's not like what I have, what I'm going to deliver really matters. So the perception always keeps you moving forward in life. That's the thing, like to be honest, like I was not very happy after 5 years doing my IHMR Bangalore because I was thinking it's not the thing, I will do something better and bigger. So I joined my second MBA program from Cass Business School, London. So that's the driving force. Still, I'm not satisfied. So I'm planning to do something on PhD. I don't know when it's going to happen, but like this is a driving force. We don't know like how we're going to live and how many days, but change has to happen through me, right?
Yes, sir. I hope
This
it
change
happens
is,
soon, sir.
I mean, see, I mean, not me in the sense like I'm just posting and this is a message which I want to convey to the
Yes, sir.
budding the game changers. So no, then like, be confident. There's nothing is going to stop you. Like as long as you don't. A simple thing is like we discuss a lot about yoga and stuff like small thing is like just 10 minutes of doing some exercise and meditation and starting your day. That's a game changer. We all decide, but put the button on like on the alarm and just keep sleeping on that. So is it like is there a lot of good code is there? Are you going to still going to start your day with a lot of dreams, or are you going to be in action? So the 5:30
Yes, sir.
6 o'clock is a game changer, right? So
Definitely,
probably
sir.
I take it in that way. That's a good message to move forward.
Yes, sir.
So I
Yes.
think I'll leave it to Mr. Anil as well.
So, Anil, sir, what was the masterstroke of your career path?
It's very difficult to beat Dr. Ram's answer now, so I'll try. I still will
It's
try.
okay, sir.
I think for me is to convince Rashmi to marry me.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Rashmi is my wife, and
Yes,
and
we guessed.
and jokes apart, I think it's important to have a support network.
Yes.
So whether it's the partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, whosoever that, or mother, father, priest, you know, but it's important. Our life is stressful. Dealing any professional life is very stressful life. So for me, that realization that I just cannot do everything on my own. I need some sounding boards. I need some friends whom actually I can share my dreams, my stress, my fears, and thankfully in Rashmi I have that person who's been there, and I can do that. So for me, that was the realization that I cannot do everything on my own. Neither I have to. There's no point. Second, having a support structure wherein somebody is there to, in management, they do exercise wherein they make you fall back and somebody else is going to support you or hold you. There's a trust that that person is not going to let you fall. So that's the support kind of thing, that do you have some support you can rely on? Those would be I would say, that actually made my life a lot more meaningful, that realization. And lastly is that, every day, every moment, I'm just trying to figure it out how can I service back? Because I just don't want to keep on asking, what can institute give me? What can my company give me? What my community give me? or my country give me, I have to make sure I give back. What can I do for them? And that somehow gives a little bit purpose to my life. Reality is, all of you are going to be highly successful people. I mean, you are anyway ambitious. That's why you're doing a master's with all your background. So just always think what more we can do for our own growth, our family's growth, our community growth. That
Yes, sir.
at least for me, that gives me meaning, and that realization was a masterstroke for me.
In a nutshell, be true to yourself, because at the end of the day, you are the only one you have to face.
There you go. Can you watch?
Yes,
Can you
sir.
look yourself in the mirror and be happy about it?
Yes, sir. That makes
Not
sense.
after hangover though.
Yes, it was an amazing session. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here and answering all my questions. So we'll wrap up the session, but then our viewers and our listeners had many questions. So this is directed to all of them. We have all the questions. All the questions will be answered and mailed to them personally. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. It was an amazing opportunity to get to talk to you. Have a good day,
Thank you
sir.
so much,
Thank you so
Lisa.
much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Mr. Chandran.
sir.
Thank you so much. Have a nice time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So this is our team, all the viewers, all the listeners. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for attending the session. And this is the wonderful team which is behind this webinar, and obviously, of course, me. But you can see me, so that is why I'm not there. We hope to see you again in the next session. We'll be informing you, we'll be keeping in touch. And again, all the question and answers will be answered. If you have any other query, you can directly contact the IHMR team as well. Thank you so much. Have a good day.